Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I thought today we'd do a little quick guide video on player traits or PPMs. Now, obviously, a quick update on the save. Now, our last game we left you with 1-1 against Barcelona, which was a brilliant result. Since then, we've beaten Crystal Palace 3-1, which was a brilliant result. Then a really rotated squad, well, for more reason than one, as you can see from the injuries. So, and Wijnaldum and Matic getting the goals, and obviously us getting through the next round, which is brilliant. Now, having a look at the squad, as you can see as I scroll down, we've got a lot of injury problems. Now, a lot of this has been down to my heavy training, I believe. So I've adjusted that. So if we go to trainer, so we're sort of just going average, a lot of general training rather than match preparation, and that's what we're rocking with. But that's not what we're here for today. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and I thought for today we'd have a quick update. So I'm on the squad screen, as you could see, because I just wanted to let you know about the injury crisis. Now, we'll go through the players individually. So Mane, luckily he's coming back now. Milner out for 2 to 4 weeks, which has been quite hampered. Lallana, obviously injured at the beginning of the game, is still going to be out for ages, so there's no point even worrying about him. Mignolet, the situation there is still to try and sell him as and when possible. Klein, he's still out for 3 to 4 months, so there's no point even thinking about him. Ox will hopefully be back soon. 5 to 11 days, that's not too bad. He's a big part of how we play. Brewster, this was a shame as he'd started to get the odd game within the team and did well against Barcelona. He expected to be out for another 5 to 12 days. Danny Ings, 4 to 11. I've used him, well, twice, but I started just using him a little bit more just to give Bobby that rest. And then he goes and gets an injury, which is a shame. And then lastly, Emre Can, 5 days. And as you can see, we're really light, to be fair. We've been having to use Liam Coyle quite a lot. Luckily, he's doing the job, and we're tutoring him to get rid of his balanced personality, but we'll talk about that in another episode. Today, we're just going to focus on player traits or PPMs. So we're going to go to the Ox for player traits and PPMs to speak about, just because he has been really pivotal in my save, and I've seen a lot of Liverpool playthroughs where he doesn't perhaps get given that chance in midfield, and I just wanted to sort of put my case across of why I've been using him in the centre in a role that, the game says his best role is winger, and why his PPMs suit him perfectly for what I want him to do. Now, highlighting the advanced playmaker on attack, we can see actually his stats fit that role really, really well. Now, you've got to remember with my team, I've got a deep-lying playmaker on defend in a defensive midfielder role. So he's going to sit back. The other role used to be a deep-lying playmaker on support up in midfield, but now is a ball-winning midfielder on support, which closes down and gets pulled out of position. Now, the advanced playmaker, he is the creativity in our team, but I want him to be a playmaker and still make them, I suppose, them box-to-box runs without him being a box-to-box, if that makes sense. So I want him to play them balls, and I know his passing and his vision isn't the highest, but why I wanted him in the midfield is because he has the player trait, knocks ball past opponent and runs with ball often. Okay, so that means no matter what I tell him, no matter what the team instruction is, no matter if I give him individual instructions, player traits or PPMs will always overwrite everything, no matter what. You can try and get rid of them, but they'll overwrite everything. Now, these traits, you can argue aren't great, but with his acceleration of 17, his pace to 6, he has the speed to knock past most players easily. Okay? Then he has the dribbling of 16 as well, which means not only can he beat you, he can keep the ball. His balance is okay. Balance means it can reflect how well a player can stay on their feet, on and off the ball. So that you want that high, especially with your attacking players. So with that being said, that there are PPMs or player traits that I do like Ox, he fits that system that I'm playing perfectly. Now there are some certain PPIs that I don't like, and that includes shoot from distance, likes to play way out of trouble, which is not good, because that means dive into tackles more, which would then mean you would be more vulnerable in the defensive situations within the game. And then you'll get caught off the ball and you'll get one of them FM goals that drive you insane. So train them away, get rid of them. Like, you train in the ones that you want, you can you can remove the ones you don't want. Now, for example of training PPMs, this is Reece Williams. He's in the under 18s. Now, how I like to play is I like my defenders to be able to bring the ball out from the back. That's how I like to play. That's how I like to encourage my play. And especially with my ball-winning defenders being so aggressive to win that ball, if they do, I want them to be comfortable to either pass it or keep dribbling it. Now, so that means on additional focus, I will have dribbling. His dribbling's 4. If this player is ever going to get into my team, he needs to increase that. Otherwise, he's not going to get in there. I then have new player trait, brings ball out of defence. So then I can train him in exactly how I want to. Now that doesn't mean that will work for your tactic. You may play different. I played very fluid football. Other traits that I really like would be moves into channels, places shots. I'm a big fan of placing shots. I'm fed up of strikers getting one-on-one chances and then missing them. I feel, in my experience of playing this game, that places shots removes a lot of that. Now, if you did want to add a player trait, this is how you would do it. So here we have a youngster here, Milner. So I will just show you, but I'm not going to add anything at this time. But no, we'll add places shots. So he's got the player's trait, moves into channels, cuts inside from both wings. I'm happy with that because when he plays, he's going to be an inside forward, and I want him to cut him. Now, so you'd go up to development training. You would then move all across to new player trait. And then down here, although I think because I've just asked someone, you would then click on them, click the training you want, and then the coach will either say if they feel they can do it or if they don't. A lot of the time they say no, try what they think they should do something different. Most of the time I just ignore them because they don't do what's obviously best for your tactic. The game doesn't know that. And in removing the traits, you would do the same thing. You'd go through the same process. And just lastly, Virgil van Dijk, he's been a rock at the back, as I'm sure all of you know, and he's already got that brings ball out of defence. And when you see him play, because it's hard, because when you play Football Manager, there's a lot of dots, or there's a lot of people sort of running around, and you never know sort of where to focus. So especially in pre-season, it's important to have a tactic with very basic roles, have 2 or 3 team instructions, okay? Go standard, go flexible, and say, right, today I'm just looking at this position, okay? So when Virgil van Dijk, and another thing, sorry, and it's on top of that, you need to understand when I take Virgil van Dijk out and I replace him with Lovren, okay? They're going to play very differently. Okay, so a defence that was very solid under Van Dijk, he brings the ball out, that's it, he's very strong. Now we've got a defender that argues with officials and tries to play out of trouble. So to me, that's a recipe for disaster, like, as much as I love Lovren, like he is in real life. So it's important to understand that, but anyway, I digest. When you're looking at your tactic, you need to look at the individual roles. So for instance, you would then say, right, today I'm just going to look at the right wing, okay? Or even more specific, if you've got the time, just the right fullback. I want to see, is he getting up enough? Is he defending? Is he getting back enough? You need to pay attention to their attributes. Acceleration, if you want them to be a wing back, they're going to need to be quick. If they're not quick, they're not going to get back. You're going to be beaten every time. So I hope this little video was helpful. If you want any more, just drop a like and a comment, and I'll try and answer or do the next videos as best as I can. I'm not an expert, but I know a few little bits that hopefully I can help. And if it, gets you into Football Manager again or helps you save, let me know. Let me know in the comments. That'd be really, really brilliant, to be fair. And as always, you've been you, I've been me. See you later. Bye bye.